What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about the Three Banners War. A couple things before we start, though. This is the first video I've made for Elder Scrolls Lore in probably about a month and a half. I've been incredibly busy. I have finals week next week, and I'm a college student, so I'm in between, making videos for YouTube. I'm also balancing school, and I'm balancing a job. It's not fun. I don't sleep very much, but basically, I hope you guys are just being patient with me, because I know I want to get the Dark Scrolls lore started. I want to get that actually a weekly show. I plan on having that come out on Sundays. On top of that, this week alone, I just had the last Grand Ages come out, and I'm starting a new series next week, so I have that to worry about. And just really, recording has been pretty difficult in terms of this. So with that being said, I'm glad you guys are being patient with me. I'm glad you guys are all being wonderful with the suggestions and things like that, because I know a lot of people have been requesting certain things for certain topics to be covered in Elder Scrolls lore. But I'm glad you guys are being patient with me, because I'm just putting out the ones I already have recorded rather than recording the videos that are being requested. Thank you for being patient with me on that one. I appreciate it. With that being said, let's crank this out. The Three Banners War. Also known as the Alliance War, it occurred during the Second Era in the year 580. It involved the First Aldmeri Dominion, the Ebonheart Pact, and the Daggerfall Covenant, all vying for Tamriel. In 578 of the Second Era, Emperor Varian Aquilarios was convinced by Manimarco that he knew a ritual to make him Dragonborn. Varian wanted to legitimize his claim to the throne by lighting the dragon fires in the Temple of the One, which could only be done by a Dragonborn. Varian and Manimarco were part of a group known as the Five Companions. The other members were Sai Saharan, Lyris Titanborn, and Ebnor Tharn. However, the ritual was a trick and Manimarco trapped the others and declared his allegiance to Molag Bal. The ritual would actually weaken the barriers between Mundus and Cold Harbor. Clivia Tharn was named Empress Regent and turned the Empire to Daedra worship. Her father, Ebnor Tharn, was the High Chancellor of the Elder Council and the Overlord of Nibene, but he hated Molag Bal. This split the family into two. Clivia convinced Manimarco to use necromancy to resurrect fallen Imperial soldiers to bolster the Empire's armies and to prevent signs of weakness. However, the other alliances saw the weakness and each attempted to expand their territory and conquer Tamriel for themselves. With the exception of the Covenant, who wanted to actually restore the Empire, but really it was kind of shady, because they had their own motives, but their goal was to restore the Empire, probably in their own image, let's be real. But following the Plain Mead, the bridges to the Imperial City were destroyed. This stopped Imperial forces from entering the city and fighting the Daedra. The Legion inside, known as Legion Zero, swore allegiance to Molag Bal. Each faction sought to capture the city for itself. The Vestige would destroy the anchor above the Imperial City, help relight the dragon fires, and defeat the Daedra and Legion Zero. The city would eventually be liberated. Now, the only known battle that has been recorded is actually a relatively significant one, and kind of I would say a badass one in my opinion. This is a pretty sweet battle. So, the Battle of Cholman Keep was a major battle between all three factions in the war. It began in 582 of the Second Era, when Dominion armies marched into Pact territory to Cholman Keep. A wave of Dominion forces would ram through the main gate and storm the courtyard, but the Covenant would halt their attack. They defeated the wave of Dominion troops, but quickly found themselves facing another wave. But the Covenant luckily defeated the second wave, but once again found themselves fighting a third wave. It was here when the Pact forces arrived and a three-way battle began in the keep. The Dominion was once again driven back, leaving the battle to the Pact and the Covenant. Eventually the Dominion would return for one final assault, and they would drive both factions out and capture Cholman Keep. They were also able to elect a new emperor of the Empire as well. Now, this is the only known recorded battle, and I know that the Elder Scrolls Online takes place during the events of the Alliance War, and I have not played all through the Elder Scrolls Online, so I'm not sure if there's anything else that I might be missing, but in my research I didn't find anything. Please let me know in the comments below if I made a mistake. But regardless, these factions would all collapse sometime before the Tiber Wars, and none really have a reason for their downfall. The final victor of the war is still unknown, and thus there is no date in which the war ended. It's the first Aldmeri Dominion collapses because obviously there is a second Aldmeri Dominion that will rise up, and they rule for roughly like 20 years, and then just kind of get conquered by Tiber Septim. But in addition to that, the Ebonheart Pact was barely held together as was. All three of the races that made up the Ebonheart Pact absolutely hated each other. The Nords, Dubner, and the Argonians, they absolutely hated each other. There was really no means of keeping them together, and I'm going to assume that once the leaders died, that that support would just die away. And then, as for the Covenant, I don't really know about the Covenant. The Bretons, the Orcs, and the Red Guards have a really weird relationship where they're all usually firmly loyal to the Empire, and it would be interesting to see how they actually collapsed and how they actually fell. But regardless of that, that is all I have today for the Alliance War. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, please like and subscribe, and if you guys have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments below. I'll gladly go and take a look at them. The next few videos are going to be suggestions of what people have requested, so I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.